The skies above Vela burned red. Giant enemy ships blocked out the stars, their black metal hulls glowing with the heat of war. Cities on the surface were already in flames. The people of Vela had no more armies to send, no more fleets to fight. Ambassador Thalon stood in the central communications tower, staring at the final message he had prepared. His long fingers trembled as he pressed the activation rune. The words were simple, but they carried the weight of his entire world's survival. To any who can hear us, we are under attack. We have no time. Please, help us. The message shot into the deep void, carried by every beacon they still controlled. It would spread to hundreds of systems, maybe thousands, but Thalon knew the truth: most racers would not come. The galaxy was not kind to the weak. The council chamber behind him was filled with fear. Leaders argued in desperate whispers. "They won't answer," one counselor hissed. "They will only bring more danger," said another. "No one interferes." With the Droken Armada, the military commander said bitterly, "Not if they want to survive." Thalon turned to them. "Then we die anyway. If no one answers, this is our end." His voice was calm, but inside, he felt like a man drowning. Hours passed. The first responses came. A merchant fleet sent polite regrets they could not risk their ships. A neighboring system offered condolences, but no aid. Another race replied, with a single cold phrase, "Your war is not ours." Thalon closed his eyes. He knew this would happen. Still, each rejection felt like a knife. Then the console beeped. Another message had arrived. The room fell silent as the code was translated. It was short, only 2 words. "We heard." The air in the chamber seemed to change. The words were tagged with the source coordinates deep in human space. Humans, the council erupted into louder whispers now, this time filled with unease. "They are dangerous," one counselor said. "They don't fight for free," another warned. "They haven't answered a distress call in over a century." The commander muttered "Thou," and felt a strange mix of hope and fear. He had met humans. Only once, years ago. They were different. Not like the other species of the galaxy. They carried themselves with quiet confidence, like predators who did not need to roar. The council voted to ignore the message, but Thalon overrode them. "If they are coming, we will welcome them. We have no choice." Outside, the war grew worse. Droken ships began entering low orbit, targeting energy grids and water supplies. On the capital streets, civilians ran for shelter as fire rained from the sky. The sound of distant explosions echoed through the tower. Then the long-range sensors screamed an alert. Something massive had entered the system. Multiple contacts, fast, large, and heavily armed. The Droken ships shifted formation, clearly aware of the newcomers. "Identify them," Thalon ordered. The screen flickered, and his breath caught. They were human warships, not the sleek, polished cruisers of the core worlds. These ships were old, their hulls dark with battle scars, but they were alive with power, glowing with the heat of their engines and the cold light of their weapons. No greeting came, no formal introduction. A single human transmission reached the Vela defense network. "Follow our instructions. Stay out of the way." The Droken fleet hesitated, for only a moment before moving to engage. But the humans were already in motion. The first human salvo tore through the black sky, streaks of light slamming into Droken shields and breaking them like glass. Enemy ships burst into flames, drifting apart in silent explosions. The humans moved with precision. Every strike was deliberate, every shot fatal. Thalon watched from the tower, heart pounding. This was not defense. This was extermination. The Vela people had begged for help. The humans had come. But as Thalon looked at the cold, unflinching way they fought, he began to wonder, had they come to save Vela, or to destroy the Droken for reasons of their own? The answer would come soon enough. The human fleet cut through the darkness like blades of steel. 11 warships in total, 3 massive capital ships, and 8 smaller escorts spread out in a perfect attack pattern. Their engines glowed a deep, steady blue, each movement sharp and controlled, like predators circling prey. Ambassador Thalon had never seen ships move like this. Other fleets hesitated, adjusted, or retreated under pressure. The humans didn't. Every ship in their formation acted as if the battle was already won. "Are they ignoring us?" one of the counselors asked, watching the tactical feed. "They're not here for greetings," Thalon replied quietly. "They're here for war." The Droken armada regrouped, trying to form a defensive wall. Their flagship, a black dagger-shaped cruiser twice the length of a Vala city, moved to the front. It began broadcasting a challenge in a dozen languages, warning the humans to leave. The humans didn't respond. Instead, the lead human worshipper, beast of metal named Iron Resolve, adjusted its angle and charged directly at the flagship. The Droken opened fire first. Red plasma streaked across the void, hitting the human shields with enough force to shatter most ships. The Iron Resolve didn't even slow down. Its return fire was brutal long-range railgun slugs that tore deep into the enemy hull. The flagship shuddered, its shields collapsing in seconds. The smaller human ships broke formation, weaving between enemy lines like hunters in a pack. They fired in precise bursts, each shot disabling engines, cutting weapon systems, or splitting armor apart. "Look at their tactics," Commander Drell muttered, unable to hide his awe. "Every strike is planned. They're not just fighting to push the Droken back, they're dismantling them." Thalon's eyes narrowed. Dismantling or punishing? As the battle raged, a strange thing happened. The Droken began retreating, pulling back to regroup farther from the planet. The humans didn't pursue immediately. Instead, their flagship broadcast a short message directly to the Vela Defense Command. "Prepare evacuation routes for civilians. Follow our instructions exactly." It was the first time they had spoken since arrival, and the tone was absolute authority. No requests, no questions. Within minutes, human shuttles began landing in key locations, dropping supplies, medical teams, and mobile shield generators. They worked fast, too fast for it to be the first time they'd done this. Thalon found himself staring at one particular human officer in the transmission feed. She was tall, with sharp eyes that scanned every detail before speaking. Her uniform was dark grey, her voice calm but commanding. "This is Captain Rena Solars of the Terran Defense Fleet," she said. "Your enemy has made a mistake by coming. Here they think you are alone." Thalon swallowed, "And we are not." Her lips curved into the smallest of smiles. "Not anymore." The humans didn't waste another second. The fleet moved again, engines burning brighter as they aligned for the next strike. Only now did Thalon realize this wasn't just a rescue mission. The humans had come prepared for this exact enemy. The Droken armada reappeared on the edge of the system, regrouped and ready for a second strike. But this time, the humans didn't wait for them to advance. The Terran fleet moved first. The Iron Resolve led the charge. its railguns firing in rhythmic bursts that shook the enemy's formation apart. Smaller Terran destroyers darted between the Droken lines, targeting engines and command ships. Every move was calculated. There was no chaos, only precise destruction. From the capital's war room, Ambassador Thalan watched the tactical displays. He noticed something strange. Each Terran strike focused on specific Droken ships, the ones carrying older, scarred hull designs. Why are they targeting those ships first? He asked. Captain Rena Solar's voice came through the comms, cold, uncertain. Those are the ones that destroyed one of our colonies. 20 years ago, we remember. It hit Thalan like a cold wave. This wasn't just about saving the humans were here for revenge. The Droken responded with their deadliest weapon, planet killer plasma lances. Beams so powerful they could burn through a city in seconds. But before the weapons could fire, the humans revealed something the galaxy had only whispered about. From the belly of the Iron Resolve, a massive weapon unfolded, black, angular, and bristling with energy coils. The humans called it the Black Spear. Every Droken ship immediately tried to retreat. The Black Spear didn't fire like a normal weapon. It didn't launch plasma or rail slugs. It created a focused gravitational spike that tore enemy ships apart. From the inside, the first target, a Droken battleship, simply crumpled, folding in on itself until nothing was left but twisted debris. Even the Valar officers stepped back from their screens. What is that thing? One whispered. Captain Solas didn't answer. She gave the order for a second shot. Another Droken cruiser died instantly, collapsing in total silence. The enemy fleet broke formation completely, panic spreading through their comms. But the humans weren't satisfied with just chasing them off. They pressed forward, faster and harder, leaving no escape corridor. Thalan realized something terrifying. The humans weren't here to fight until the Droken retreated. They were here to erase them. The last Droken ship in the sector tried to flee toward deep space. The Iron Resolve pursued. One final shot from the Black Spear turned the ship into a glowing cloud of fragments. The battle was over in less than an hour. The humans had burned through the enemy like fire through dry grass, but Thalan's relief was mixed with fear. He could see it in the humans' eyes on the comm screens. They were not done, not yet. Asterisk. The Droken armada was gone from Valar space. The skies were clear, but no one felt safe. In the war room, Ambassador Thalan watched the human fleet hold position above the planet. There was no celebration, no speeches. The Terrans were already planning their next move. Captain Rena Solas appeared on the comm screen. Her tone was steady, her words sharp. The Droken will come back unless we end this now. We know where they came from. We will go there. Thalan felt his chest tighten. You mean their homeworld? Yes, the Valar Council broke into protest. If you do this, the galaxy will see it as an atrocity. The core worlds will cut them off. The core worlds watched you burn and did nothing. They watched us burn too. We are not here for their approval. Within hours, the Terran fleet was gone, vanishing into the darkness of hyperspace. Days later, a single unencrypted broadcast rippled through every major network in the sector. It was a live feed, shaky, distant footage of the Droken homeworld, a blue-green jewel of a planet full of life. The Iron Resolve appeared in orbit. The Black Spear deployed there. Were no negotiations, no ultimatums. A beam of dark energy lanced down, and the planet began to tear apart. Oceans boiled, continents split, The skies turned to fire. The feed cut to static. A moment later, a final message appeared on every channel, in every major language of the galaxy. We answered your call. We brought the fire. If you harm us, or those under our protection, expect the same. Then the message vanished. Weeks later, whispers spread across the stars about the day the humans destroyed an empire in less than a week. Some called it justice. Others called it vengeance. Ambassador Thalen remembered only one thing. When Vela begged for help, the galaxy turned away. But the humans came, and they never left a war half-finished. Months had passed. Since the fall of the Dracon, Vela rebuilt quickly under Terran protection. Trade returned, skies cleared, and the scars of war began to fade. But one night, Ambassador Thalen received a private message. It came from an anonymous source, encrypted with Terran military codes. He hesitated before opening it. The message contained only a single recording. It showed Captain Rena Solas aboard the Iron Resolve, speaking to a shadowed figure in a war room. Her voice was low, almost conspiratorial. "They think we came here for them," she said. "But this was always about Phase 1. The shadowed figure replied, "The galaxy will never unite unless they fear us more than they fear each other." Nodded. "Good. Then it begins." The recording ended. Thalen sat frozen in silence. Had humanity truly come as saviors? Or had Valor simply been the perfect stage for a far greater plan? The stars outside seemed colder now.